Right, I should start off with an apology since this video has been a long time coming and I know a lot of you have been requesting it in the comments for a number of months, and I'm not quite sure why it's taken me this long to get around to doing it. Having said that, if it now gets any fewer than 200,000 views, I will hold you all personally responsible. The idea is pretty simple. This is a best 11 based on players from landlocked countries, and to qualify, the player must either represent a landlocked country at international level or have been born in a landlocked country and not have represented any other country. Historically, landlocked countries have tended to struggle economically due to the trade restrictions such a geographical situation presents, although there are one or two notable exceptions. Kazakhstan is the largest landlocked country in the world in terms of land mass, Ethiopia is the largest in terms of population, and the Vatican City is the smallest in terms of both size and population. Around 7% of the world's population lives in landlocked countries, and I will quickly rattle off all 49 of them in alphabetical order for you here so you know which countries' players were available to us. There is Afghanistan, Andorra, Armenia, Artsakh, Austria, Azerbaijan, Belarus, Bhutan, Bolivia, Botswana, Burkina Faso, Burundi, Central African Republic, Chad, Czech Republic, Ethiopia, Hungary, Kazakhstan, Kosovo, Kyrgyzstan, Laos, Lesotho, Liechtenstein, Luxembourg, Macedonia, Malawi, Mali, Moldova, Mongolia, Nepal, Niger, Paraguay, Rwanda, San Marino, Serbia, Slovakia, South Ossetia, South Sudan, Swaziland, Switzerland, Tajikistan, Transnistria, Turkmenistan, Uganda, Uzbekistan, Vatican City, West Bank, Zambia, and Zimbabwe. Now, it's worth pointing out that some of those like South Ossetia, Transnistria, and Kosovo are only partially recognised and widely debated states, but we thought we'd list them all regardless of disputed validity for good measure. Okay, here is our HITC Sevens best landlocked 11. Goalkeeper, Yann Sommer. There isn't a great deal to split 3 or 4 good goalkeepers who are available to us for our landlocked 11. We'll just edge towards Swiss number 1 Yann Sommer, who has earned a good reputation for himself, not just with the Swiss national team, but both Basel and Borussia Mönchengladbach over the last 9 years. Capped 42 times by Switzerland, Sommer is probably the best goalkeeper under 6'1" in the whole world. Right back, Kevin MBABU. We've another German-based Swiss international at right back, but Kevin MBABU's breakthrough into the national team and move to the Bundesliga are much more recent occurrences. A strong and athletic fullback who joined Swiss side Young Boys from Newcastle in 2017, MBABU looks like he could be one that got away for the Magpies. He's had 2 fantastic seasons in the Swiss Super League, and he's joining Wolfsburg in a deal worth €9.2 million this summer. Centre-back, Milan Skriniar. The outstanding centre-back when it comes to landlocked countries right now, Milan Skriniar is a no-brainer at the heart of our defence. Quick and strong, Skriniar has all the fundamentals nailed. He's strong in the tackle, a real force in the air, and dogged in his duties when tasked with keeping a forward quiet. Following an outstanding debut campaign at Sampdoria, Skriniar joined Inter Milan in 2017, and the 24-year-old has been one of the Nerazzurri's most consistent players since then. He has won 26 caps for Slovakia to date, and it's possible that he could become the nation's all-time record appearance holder one day. Centre-back, MATIJA NASTASIC. Serbia have produced a number of talented defenders over the last couple of decades, and MATIJA NASTASIC is probably their best right now. Followers of the Premier League will remember Nastasic's time at Manchester City, which was a little bit of a rollercoaster ride. He became a bit of a cult hero in his debut campaign at the Etihad, even winning the club's Young Player of the Year award, but couldn't claw back his place in the side following an injury-plagued second season. He moved on to Schalke, where he's got better and better in each of the last 5 seasons. Aged 26, Nastasic has won 27 caps for Serbia, and he's perfect for us as a left-footed centre-back on the left side of our centre-back partnership. Left back, David Alaba. No position in this 11 has more quality than left back, but we shall come to that with our bench and honourable mentions later in this video. Starting in our 11, as arguably the finest left back in the world, has to be David Alaba. A full Austrian international since the age of 17, Alaba is Austria's youngest ever international, and he has won 64 caps for his country at the age of 26. An 8-time Bundesliga champion, 6-time Austrian Footballer of the Year, and 3-time UEFA Team of the Year inclusion, one could make a good case for ALABA being the best player in this 11. Defensive midfield. GEOFFREY KONDOGBIA. Moving into midfield, and we had no shortage of options when it came to midfield enforcers. However, GEOFFREY KONDOGBIA's decision to switch his international allegiance from France to the Central African Republic in 2018 means he is the one who gets the nod from me. The former Sevilla, Monaco and Inter Milan midfielder, now Valencia, is both a force to be reckoned with in the tackle and a gifted footballer when in possession. He has won 3 caps for the Central African Republic, following 3 years without a cap from France. Central midfield. SERGEJ MILINKOVIC-SAVIC. Last season was a bit of a come down for SERGEJ MILINKOVIC-SAVIC following an exceptional 2017-18 campaign the previous year. The leggy Serb is still good enough to make our starting 11 though, and he was still a regular fixture for Lazio despite not being able to hit the heights he set the previous season. A really powerful and industrious midfielder, it was MILINKOVIC-SAVIC's intelligent forward runs that saw him bag 14 goals and 8 assists during the 2017-18 season. The 24-year-old, who was being valued at €120 million by Lazio just 12 months ago, has won 12 caps for Serbia to date. Central midfield. MAREK HAMSIK. MAREK HAMSIK holds the record of having played the most games and having scored the most goals in the history of both Napoli and the Slovakia national team, making him a hero in both his native Slovakia and his adopted home in the south of Italy. Smart, two-footed and good on the ball, HAMSIK is best known for the number of goals he has scored from midfield. He scored 121 goals in 520 games over a period of more than 11 years with Napoli, as well as scoring 24 goals from 114 caps for Slovakia to date. Aged 31, HAMSIK left Napoli to join Rafa Benitez's new club Dalian Jifeng of the Chinese Super League for €13 million in February, but we think he still warrants a place in our landlocked 11. Right wing. Marko Arnautovic. Moving on to the forward areas, and I would suggest that the right wing position is second only to left back in terms of talent and depth among landlocked countries. I won't spoil who the alternatives were before we reach our substitutes and honourable mentions, but ultimately, our choice on the right flank is Marko Arnautovic. The Austria star has actually played more football on the left flank and through the middle than he has out wide on the right in recent years, but he's comfortable playing out there, and you'll understand why he couldn't start on the left or up top very shortly. Arnautovic is a tall and gifted wide man who has never had a lack of talent. His issues have always been in relation to attitude, application and consistency, and they're probably the attributes that prevented him from making it a Champions League club at the age of 30. Nevertheless, Arnautovic is explosive, technically very good, and a genuine goal threat. He's one of the best players outside the Premier League's top 6 when he's up for it, and he's actually outperformed David Alaba on the international stage over the last few years. Left wing. DUSAN TADIC. 12 months ago, off the back of a not particularly outstanding season at Southampton, DUSAN TADIC might not have even made the bench for this team. Ever since his return to the Netherlands last summer with Ajax though, Tadic has been nothing short of superb. A tally of 35 goals and 17 assists from the left flank last season would be enough to make Tadic at least a top 10 Ballon d'Or candidate in one of Europe's top 5 leagues, and he would be linked with £50 million moves to the likes of Barcelona and Real Madrid this summer if he wasn't already 30 years of age. Nevertheless, that kind of form can't go unnoticed, and Tadic has to be a nailed-on starter here. Tadic's vision, technique, and as you can tell from those statistics, his ruthlessness in front of goal were all first class last season, and on those showings, he's arguably going to be our main man. Centre forward. Luka Jovic. Joining the likes of ALABA and Tadic in any starman discussions, and hopefully showing why Marko Arnautovic had to start on the right flank, up front, we have Luka Jovic. The 4th Serbian in our starting 11, making Serbia the most prevalent nation in this 11, Jovic's recent explosion onto the world scene is evidenced by the fact that he has only won 6 caps for Serbia to date. Having had limited game time in Portugal with Benfica, Jovic joined Eintracht Frankfurt on a 2-year loan deal with a view to a permanent transfer in 2017. Following a decent debut campaign, Jovic was absolutely outstanding last season, scoring 27 goals in all competitions. A bit of a throwback of a centre forward, Jovic isn't the quickest, he isn't particularly skillful, and his passing is nothing to write home about either. What he is, however, is predatory. The majority of Jovic's goals are first-time finishes, and he is fantastic at firing off early shots. His movement is excellent, he can hit the ball with either foot, and he's a real menace in the air. Jovic joined Real Madrid in a deal worth €60 million this summer, meaning Frankfurt turned a profit of more than €50 million on the 21-year-old in less than 2 months, having only officially signed him on a permanent deal from Benfica in April. There's no doubt that he has to be our number 9. The team, including manager and substitutes. Moving on to our bench, and we had a plethora of options between the sticks. I've gone with Borussia Dortmund number 1 Roman Bürki, who plays second fiddle to Yann Sommer for the Swiss national team, but it was far from an easy decision. Covering both right back and centre back, and bringing heaps of experience to this squad, our next substitute is Chelsea legend Branislav Ivanovic. Now starring for Zenit St. Petersburg in Russia, the 35-year-old can no longer quite hold down a starting berth in our landlocked 11, but he's more than worthy of a spot on the bench. That leaves us only really requiring cover at left back in the defensive areas, and as alluded to, that is a position where we have no lack of depth. It's a horrible decision between Alexander Kolarov of Serbia and Ricardo Rodriguez of Switzerland, both of whom are very talented fullbacks with wicked left feet that make them set-piece specialists. My choice is Kolarov, who has been outstanding since signing for Roma in 2017 and captains the Serbian national team. In midfield, covering in holding and central midfield, is another Serbian in the form of Ljubomir Fejsa. A really underrated midfielder who glues this current Benfica side together, Fejsa has been one of the best players in Portugal for the last few seasons, and he won 10 consecutive league titles in 3 different countries between 2008 and 2017. 2 players who would most likely have made this starting 11 in previous years, but have to settle for a place on the bench in 2019, are Xherdan Shaqiri and Henrik Mkhitaryan. Mkhitaryan in particular was superb before arriving in England with Manchester United, and his form has never really been consistently very good at either Manchester United or Arsenal. He is undoubtedly the greatest Armenian footballer to have ever lived though, and it would be unfair not to include him at least on the bench. Shaqiri scored some important goals and made a big impact at times off the bench for Liverpool last season, but he rarely started games for Jurgen Klopp. The short and explosive former Stoke star is the player Switzerland look to come up with a bit of magic, and he often does just that. He's won 82 caps and has scored 22 goals for Switzerland at the age of 27. Finally, the last man on our 7-man bench is Fulham striker Alexander Mitrovic. A completely different option to Jovic, the recent Real signing will be delighted if he can replicate Mitrovic's goal-scoring record for the national team. Mitrovic is a big, bullish handful of a centre-forward who lets defenders know he's there, challenges for everything, and can chip in with a goal. He has chipped in with 25 goals from just 49 caps for Serbia, and 11 goals in a relegated Fulham side last season was enough for the Cottagers to value him at £30 million this summer. Honourable mentions when it comes to those who missed out on both our starting 11 and bench go to the likes of Martin Dubravka, Thomas Vaklik, Valentino Lazaro, Martin Skrtel, Pablo Aguirre, Ricardo Rodriguez, Nemanja Matic, Luka Milivojevic, Granit Xhaka, and Miguel Almiron. In charge of the side, we have to go with 2-time Swiss Manager of the Year and current Borussia Dortmund boss, Lucien Favre. To conclude, our landlocked 11 reads like this: Yann Sommer, Kevin MBABU, Milan Skriniar, MATIJA NASTASIC, David ALABA, Jeffrey KONDOGBIA, SERGEJ MILINKOVIC-SAVIC, MAREK HAMSIK, Marko Arnautovic, DUSAN TADIC, and Luka Jovic, with a bench made up of Roman Bürki, Branislav Ivanovic, Alexander Kolarov, Ljubomir Fejsa, Henrik Mkhitaryan, Xherdan Shaqiri, and Alexander Mitrovic, all managed by Borussia Dortmund manager Lucien Favre. That's it for today's video. Congratulations on making it to the end of the video. Since you've got this far and in exchange for eternal good luck and happiness, why not subscribe and turn on notifications for the ever brilliant HITC Sevens. Also, for mobile users, if you click on your screen now there should be some suggestions of other videos YouTube thinks you might like, and I agree with YouTube. If you're watching on desktop, they should appear of their own accord. Thank you all for watching, give us a like if you enjoyed the video, and I hope you have a brilliant day.